Good evening and welcome to episode 22 of the Gaming Fuse podcast. I'm your host, Mr. Boom Boom Kaboom. That's right, we have moved this podcast over to Tuesday nights, 9:30 Eastern, 7:30 Mountain Time. Do apologize for the slight delay. We were trying to get everybody in the room. I was a little bit late sending Axel the link to get in here because I forgot to hit the send button. You know, old poor idiot me. But anyway, we do have our fantastic panel and our co-guests on here. First time in a while, we've actually had 4 people lining up on the panel, which is great. We got some good topics. We're going to have some great conversation. And pardon me, I'm still trying to get over a cold. So yeah, I'm obviously coughing. My throat's a little bit off. So hopefully I can still bring the heat tonight for you guys. But anyway, amazing chat already here. Thanks for coming out and being part of the show. I will send you the acknowledgments in just a moment. But before we do that, let's introduce my co-panel member, Mental 9R.
What's up, everybody? I hope you're all having a great night. I know I am, and I can't wait to get into the show. I'm not going to sit here and ramble on, which I'm doing right now, but let's get it rolling, Noof.
That was the shortest rambling ever, my friend. Welcome back, Mental. It's good to have you here. And let's get this show on the road. All right. He was, I guess he was my former co-panel member of Good Morning Xbox. He is now the sole host of the podcast, along with some amazing people like Coolcat Terri, and he has various guests in and out each and every week, kind of like Dreadpool and Eternal Shaddai and a whole different bunch of characters. But if you've been missing out on the show, he'll catch you up to speed in a hurry. Also, the host of one of the most fun, interesting, and amazing little podcasts on Friday nights, the Iconic Video Games Podcast. He's been just killing it. He's probably one of the most underappreciated guys in the podcasting game right now, in my personal opinion. And more people should be following his channel and showing him some love because Axel is legit. And here he is, my good friend, Axel1324.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? I'm Axel1324, and Noof, thank you so much for the invite, man. I can't wait. You know, I don't really do much cursing and much sexual innuendos on my channel, but it's on today.
And anything goes because he's on my channel.
That's right. That's right. Demonetized immediately.
Just keep your clothes on. Wise Old Gamer has this thing about taking his shirt off for some reason. I think he thinks he's Hulk Hogan halfway through the podcast.
You know, he has that liquid confidence in him, I think. So, yeah.
Yeah, he vapes too much. He probably gets a little dizzy after a while.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe feeling the air on his body cools him down or something. I have no idea. Shout out to Wise.
Shout out to Wise Old Gamer. He was our guest last week. Awesome dude. Go check out his channel out as well. And speaking of awesome dudes in the gaming community, a guy that we've had on the podcast once in previous weeks. I couldn't wait to get him back on again. He's a great sport. He answered the bat signal when I sent it out to him, like I said. And I always have much respect for this man simply because he is a small-time video game shop owner. And I understand the fight that he's in to keep the store alive in a digital age where it's really killing the mom and pop and the brick and mortar. But boy, you know, we're starting to see the benefits now of those people that are still going out and supporting that, including Oppenheimer right now, which is sold out on 4K in places. So yeah, it's still alive and kicking. We're going to keep it that way. And certainly the Game Complainerz is going to do it. Here he is. Welcome to the stage. What's up, my man?
What's going on, Noof? How you doing?
I'm dying, man.
Good God. You okay, Noof? Oh. He looks like he's choking on some ghost stick over there. What's going on?
Oh, man.
Woo! Man, I feel like I got some kind of like dirt in my throat here. What's going on?
Oh, man.
Anyway, enough with the deep throating. Let's get right to the podcast, shall we? All right, let's give a shout out. Holy fucking crepes. Mantle, you might have to take this one away here, man, because holy shit. I don't know what's going on here. But Darko's Dreamers in the chat. First one in the building tonight. Timothy Dixon hanging out with us. Jason Max here as well. Good to see you, Jason Max. Doggy Dog is always in the building. Good to see Doggy Dog here as well. The King is hanging out with us. Good to see you, my friend. Back from the Dead is also hanging out with us as well. Good to see you back in the building. And we have got Jason Max. We got it's Timmy in the house. I don't know why everybody needs to say it like that, but it just feels right to go, it's Timmy. And we got Splendiferous in the building. What's going on? We got our first super chat coming in courtesy of Doggy Dog, who's usually always the first guy to open the wallet and hit me where it got you. Go ahead, Mental. You can take this one.
Happy Tuesday, Game Fuse time. Let's go. Woo!
Come on, Mental, do that woo over again. Come on, give us some doggy dog emphasis
Hey,
here.
I did say I'm outside my kids' rooms, right? Next week I can do a woo.
Next week it is. All right, we're going to go, woo! There you
Yeah,
go.
it'll be better.
That's kind of
It'll be
hard.
better.
That's right. Jesse Darby's in the house. What's going on, Jesse? Yes, good to see you here. Casket Repair here as well. Talus Ray is in the building. Our good Canadian friend, Too Bad Stack, is here as well. Good to see you, my friend. Darth Vicious in here in the house. Good to see Darth. Good to see you, my friend. Our Rob is in the building. My good buddy, our Rob. Rob, what's going on, man? Send me that game, my brother. It's been too long. Hey, Princess Zelda is here. She is also part of that iconic video games podcast show hosts on Friday nights with Axel. Good to see her in the building. Rock R88 or RWK88's here. Thimber as well. Good to see you here. Almost caught up with everybody, guys. Don't worry, we're almost done here. And yes, I think I just about got everybody. Thanks again for being here, guys. You are amazing, and you're the reason we do this podcasting stuff in the first place. So yeah, get your questions ready for the end of the show. We'll have one of my personas coming in if my voice doesn't give out halfway through the show. All right, so let's talk about our first topic, shall we, of the evening, and that is based on an article that came out just recently. I want to see how you guys feel about it, and the chat about, I think it's what the Rockstar CEO said something about, he expects the new GTA 6 to be a game that's well over 100 hours, and believes that because this game is going to be extremely long, because it's going to be extremely popular, gamers should be able to, I guess, pay to play, and essentially kind of like paying by the minute or paying by the hour. So he values this entertainment should be worth more because you're going to play it more. And this is a dangerous precedent to set for the industry, whether it's they laying it down or somebody else. But that's where it happens, because if they go and do it and gamers will buy it, don't worry whether they charge $10 or $20. We're talking about GTA here, right? This is the game that most people bought at least 3 copies of on every platform. Your grandmother probably has a copy of it. This game almost has as many versions as friggin' Skyrim, right? That tells you a lot. This game has been around 10 freaking years and hasn't seen a sequel. That tells you a lot. And people will buy it again. Heck, they might even make a remaster of GTA 5 for the next iteration of consoles at the rate we're going. So the question is, guys, is this a dangerous precedent to set? Would you pay the extra to pay? And how much is reasonable? I mean, I'm not above paying a couple extra dollars, but again, we raise that fine line of where do we draw the line? And if they get away with it, which other companies follow suit? And all of a sudden, are we going to start paying, $90, $100, $110 for our games? I mean, up here in Canada, they're $90 starting now. In the United States, a little bit less, but still. And you guys in the States, imagine paying $100 for your games and then taxes. Hot damn. So let's take it away. The floor is open. Sorry, guys. I'm dying early. I got to take a break. So, Axel, Game Complainerz, Mental, who wants to take the first shot at this one?
I'll defer
Axel?
to our guests.
Axel, you look like you're ready to jump in on this. Go ahead, my friend.
I think the Take-Two CEO can take these 2 nuts right in his mouth. Because ain't no way I'm paying for that. There's just as you said, it sets a dangerous precedent. GTA Online right now is free. Only the content store is what you charge for officially, right? But there's also, I don't know if a lot of people are aware of this, there's also the RP servers, GTA 5 RP, which is roleplay servers. And they're very popular, and they do charge a monthly fee. They're private servers running off of the GTA engine and all this stuff, right? And some people take that role playing very seriously. They claim neighborhoods. Some people, they give themselves jobs. I mean, it is crazy how that goes. If GTA Online moves over more towards RP style role playing, I can definitely see them charging a fee right now. Kind of like Elder Scrolls Online does, or Final Fantasy 14. But the base game, the campaign, which is really what GTA is known for, right? GTA is not really known for their online. The game, their claim to fame is the base game. And if that base game has 100 hours and they want to charge $1 per hour, yeah, that's not it. It ain't it. I am 100% going to set sail with my pirate flag. And that's how I'm going to experience GTA, there's just no, I understand that games were pay to play, like in the arcades, right? We would pump our quarters in. Eventually, it got to those NFL Blitz where you would pay like $1 a quarter, if you guys remember that.
Right.
We have done pay to play before, even in the arcades. The
There's a
arcades were
reason
the early
arcades
versions of
don't
pay to win. As
exist
long as you had
anymore.
money, you could keep continuing
Okay.
and eventually finish the game, right?
Yeah.
And to bring that into the home console, they're trying to do that, but the problem is, there's a difference between a quarter for an extra life versus I'm going to assume these guys want to charge $1 an hour. It reminds me of the old AOL disc. You remember the America Online disc that were like, oh, get 100
Mhm.
hours free, and then it's right, or $100 for $1. All you need is a credit card. That's what this is reminding me. I don't think it's gonna work though, because like I said, GTA is just known for its campaign. But Noof, I don't know if you saw, kids don't want
Yeah, I see that.
games anymore. They wanted subscriptions. The world is turning over into subscriptions. So if they can figure this out, as much as someone like you and I will like it because we're old school, or wouldn't like it, I should say, because we're old school and we believe that, one price should include everything. Yeah. If they can figure it out, this might be what happens, but there ain't no way I'm spending $100 on GTA.
I'm entirely
campaign.
with you, but what gives him the right to think that his content is worth more than someone else? I mean, just like a multiplayer game. A lot of us have spent 20, 40, 100, hundreds of hours. People that are playing Fortnite right now, they're thousands of hours into multiplayer. So should they have to pay for all the hours they spent on the multiplayer extra? Because that game is free to play. Now you're already getting overcharged by the skins, and that's already an egregious, absolute gong show what they're doing over there. Like, I can't believe how much they're charging for one measly skin. And I got buddies of mine who've got tons of them. And I'm like, man, you know how much money you've spent on that game already? Like, you spent 3 times as much as you would have if the game had cost full price. Like, you know what I mean? So these guys are laughing all the way to the bank, and no one's really bringing that up. But this is what I'm saying. Like, they sneak this stuff in, it becomes a dangerous precedent. So how about multiplayer? Maybe all of a sudden these guys doing season passes decide, hey, you know what? The season pass costs us a lot of money to make. So now we're going to start charging for those. So if you want to pay, you're going to pay by the season. Maybe it's $10 for to get the whole season. Who knows? But like I said, we're walking a tricky slope in gaming, and every fucking company out there, I'm sorry to say, they're always considering some slimy ass reason to gouge you out of more money, even though the cost of games has gone up. Yes, the cost of development's gone up too, but you know what? At the same time, it's like, if you want to make a game that literally takes you 200 million to make, have you thought about making it a bit smaller? Nobody really gives a shit if it's 200 hours worth of content. Like, most of us are happy if we take 40 hours. It's, you build a map. So maybe concentrate on making the map smaller and make the games look better and play better, and just go all out on the graphics instead of just making this gigantic ass map that everybody gets bored of halfway through. So anyway, over to you, complainers or mental, because I've intro.
For me, it comes down to how much is enough, right? I mean, they're already making huge bank on these things. In no world will they ever convince me they need to charge more for it. Never. I mean, just look at the bottom line and what they're raking in. If there's microtransactions, they're making money. And the campaign, regardless if it's 50 hours, 100 hours, I don't care. I'm not paying more for it. There's no way. I'll wait till it's in the cheap bin somewhere and, close enough, or fly the flag and join Axel and we'll rebel. I don't know. But I find it just disgusting, and it is a dangerous precedent. And it wouldn't surprise me if they actually try it. And when you have like larger YouTube personalities like Rand on his podcast a while back, they were talking about this. And he's like, yeah, I would probably pay more just to play early. And that's the kind of stuff that I will never say. Even if deep down inside I might do that, I wouldn't say it out loud. Because they listen to this stuff, right? They listen to the bigger channels, and they hear that kind of stuff, and then they think it's okay. Drives me crazy. But I'm not a fan. I never will be. And personally, I think $70 games are too expensive. You look at the money that's being made, and you can't convince me they need to make more. That's all.
just before we get to Game Complainers, like here's my thing, and I'm just gonna bring up Modern Warfare 3 as an example. Okay, the game is solid. Okay, but seriously, if you go back to Modern Warfare 1 and Modern Warfare 2, and then you go to Modern Warfare 3, you can easily see that this game does not look, feel, or play like it was built from the ground up. Like this wasn't a true sequel. This felt like it was a rushed job, a forced out job that should have took more time to cook in the oven. This is still Call of Duty at heart. It still looks like Call of Duty, plays like Call of Duty, and Call of Duty fans are going to snap it up regardless. But you cannot tell me, and I owned the game, trust me, and I played it, and I'm like, this is definitely not something that we should be paying $80 for. This is not a full-fledged game. You know, they basically made the majority of the maps are actually old maps that are remade and remastered. The menus are absolutely identical. Like everything is like copy and paste. You know, and if this is where COD is going to go under the Xbox umbrella, I'm sorry, I am out. Like Xbox needs to put this guy on the shelf, tell these guys to back off, give them a couple of years to actually make a great COD, to make people actually give a shit about more than just the multiplayer, and make it worth the money. And they're not the only game. Like I'm not against games going up in cost, but I'm against games going up in cost and giving us a lot less for our money, and jipping us out of stuff that should have been on the disc to begin with. Like a lot of this content we're seeing nowadays, that would have been on the disc back in the day, or that would have came included. Now it's all like planned DLC, and we're just getting raped over the coals. And the only way to make any of these companies listen up is to stop buying in. But unfortunately, the FOMO is real. People got to have it, and the industry is just walking down that slippery slope where I don't know, man. I'm not a keen fan. I mean, but I'm just a small minority here. What do you think, Game Complainers?
How much money does Rockstar really need?
Right?
Enough, you know?
Right?
Mm-hmm.
If you're gonna charge by hour, that better be a pretty damn good game. But I don't think there's any game right now that's worth something like that.
No. What's your bottom? Let me ask you this: what's your bottom out line? Are you a big GTA fan? What's your top out like for me? Because here in Canada, I'm just going to say, I'd pay $100 maximum for the game. $100. After that, I think I'm out.
Mine would probably be like $60 or something. Like, you know, yeah, I bought like $70 games and stuff like that, but I try to use CD keys. I try to use Xbox points, like whatever I can to get the game cheaper.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not, hey, sometimes you just wait. Look at Modern Warfare 3. After 2 weeks, it dropped $10.
Yeah, why is that, I wonder?
Yeah, I know. Yeah. And it's probably another couple of weeks going to drop even lower because they want to get rid of it for the holidays, and there you go. So sometimes waiting is your friend.
100%.
So, it all depends.
Yeah. The only games I consider at launch these days are the multiplayer games. If there's something I want to play with my buddies or whatever, then I consider it. But for single player games, I'm in no hurry. I'm cheap.
So if a game is straight up multiplayer, let's take like Battlefield 2042. When that game came out, they charge you full price, but they omitted the campaign. Should they have charged full price right off the hop? Was that a bit of a killer blow to them because they overvalued their product and underestimated how much people were going to be pissed off at the no campaign? Because I know I was one of them. I did finally purchase it like last week because it was in the bargain bin for less than $20 or whatever it was. And I'm like, yeah, for $20, I guess I can splurge on a multiplayer. But the fact they left out the campaign was a major judgment call to me.
Yeah, no, that game should have been free to play.
Absolutely,
that was my take right from day one. I mean, going up against competition at the time with Halo and all the others like Warzone and whatnot, I don't know what they were thinking. And that was a large part of the backlash that it got too, is that people paid big bucks for it and then it's trash. You know, it's one thing when a game's free and it's trash. It's an entirely different story. Like I had a bunch of my old PlayStation friends that, Battlefield, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, you pre-ordered that? Like, you might want to wait until you find out if it's any good or not. Oh, no, they're always great. Like, they're big Battlefield fans. Well, that chat died down in a pretty big hurry, right? Anyone want to play Destiny? It was what the conversation
talking about
turned
another
into
copy
2 weeks
and paste.
later.
Yeah, Battlefield 2042 is solid, but not what I expected it to be after the hype that came built around it. The fact that they had a little extra time to develop it and they canceled the campaign. So I'm thinking, well, this multiplayer better be damn good. And yeah, they showed off all that environmental effects when they did all those trailers and it looked fucking cool. And then you're like, the game comes out like, okay, who the fuck fucked up here? Let's talk about a downgrade, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. No kidding. No kidding. Hey, did I catch that right, Noof? Earlier you were blaming Xbox for COD not being very good?
No. I said let's hope that
Oh man,
This
Noob
is
is
what
charging
COD is
taxes
going to
now.
be
He's
like
charging
under
taxes.
Xbox.
No, I said now that they're on there. I mean, this one's got
Just kidding.
people got to make it clear. This got nothing to do with Xbox. And the
Yeah,
people that are saying
obviously.
that this decision or this game, the way it came out or it's been received was an Xbox call, bullshit. It's not. This stuff was already done under Activision. Xbox had no pull in
Oh
this.
yeah. None
Obviously
at all.
it was just they're banking on the popular success of Modern Warfare because Modern Warfare 1 and 2 were some of the biggest selling Call of Duties in franchise history. After them kind of slipping a little bit, I think with Cold War and Vanguard to some degree. Definitely Vanguard. Cold War I think did okay, but Vanguard's numbers went down from all the stuff that I've been listening to and reading. But nothing as dreadful as what was it, Infinite Warfare when that came out. That was the lowest pre-sale Call of Duty game I think in the franchise history up to that point, because that's the one that went into space and everything, right? And it was like, what the fuck is going on here? It's okay to be in the future a little bit, but when you're up in spaceships and it starts to feel like Star Wars, it's like okay, yeah, laser guns and weird shit that doesn't exist. I'm like, it's not really Call of Duty now, is it?
That was Infinite, wasn't it? Is that what you said? Halo.
Yeah, well, there was Advanced Warfare, and then that was the one
Infinite
with Kevin
Warfare
Spacey.
or something.
Infinite Warfare. Kit Harington was in that. Was the one where they actually had spaceships, like they were fighting up past the moon and shit or whatever, right? It was like okay, but yeah, no. Like bottom line is under the Xbox umbrella moving forward. Now that the deal is closed and all the licensing agreements are up, that we want to make sure that they sit down with the guys at Activision. They sit down with the teams and say, what would you like to do with this? Like, there's no need to push this game out. The game is doing quite fine as it is. They don't need to push out another iteration, but of course, they want to keep your stockbrokers happy. I suppose that's part of what they got to do. But Call of Duty does not need an annual iteration. I mean, Battlefield gets away without an annual iteration, so why can't Call of Duty? You think fans are going to miss it if they took 2 years away? It might do them a world of good, just like the Assassin's Creed franchise did when it stepped away for a little bit, because people were getting dog shit tired of it. And it's like they stepped away, and guess what? Assassin's Creed took 2-3 years away, came back, and then had some record sales with Origins. Was it Origins? And then they followed it up with another solid effort with Odyssey. The same thing. Yeah. People will get burned out of any franchise. Heck, I couldn't. As much as I love Halo, I wouldn't want a Halo game every year, right? Because if they did a Halo game every year, guess what? It's going to be cookie cutter, copy and paste bullshit. That's what we're going to get. And I think when we expect a sequel, we expect it to be bigger and better, just like a sequel to a movie. But when it looks the same, feels the same, smells the same, well, it's the same. Anyway, we got some super chats. Let's get into this one real quick. This one came in based on our talk about games and overvalue. Take it away, Mental.
If that happens, I'm going back to my Dreamcast. It's too much.
So that's his reference to charging whatever they like for their games, basically.
Yeah.
Great comment from Splendiferous. And we move down to Doggy Dog, who totally goes off the rails with a football comment.
Denver Broncos smoke pole, just like Axel does. There's something going on there.
Kenny Pickett, man. Just go leave and go make out somewhere else. Okay.
Oh man. Portal players in the chat, what's going on? He enjoyed Infinite Warfare. You know what? People did enjoy the game. That's not a debate. It was another solid Call of Duty game. I actually bought it when it was on sale, and I enjoyed it too. But you still can't deny that the facts are facts. And it was the lowest pre-sale Call of Duty in their franchise history. They strayed a little way too far away from the formula, and people were like me. They're like, "What? We're in space? What the hell?"
Yeah.
Right. I mean, what? Say all of a sudden they took Titanfall 2 or Titanfall 3 and they brought it back to the World War era. You went back in time or something. And the mechs were like super slow and they were like ancient archaic mechs, You're like, oh no, you'd be the same way, right? So, same thing. You some of those franchises, I understand you take risks, but you still got to keep them grounded too, right? You can have some future tech, but you don't want to oversaturate it where the point is the game becomes unrecognizable. Like guns don't even look or feel like they existed in this era. You know what I mean? That's the whole point.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So. But anyway, game So where's the cutoff for everybody again? Or like any further thoughts on this before we kind of move the needle? It's not a big topic, but it's something that has to be brought up, and
I'm not
like I
paying
said,
a
it's a
penny
dangerous
over
slope.
$70 for GTA 6 if I get it at launch. But I know I can get it later for $30. So
here's a great question for you.
That's it, right?
Yeah.
What's the most money you guys have ever spent on a game, both at purchase and between all the DLCs and everything?
Oh, hell, don't ask me that question.
How much would you say you've invested? Because I know the World of Warcraft guys out there, they have got hundreds, if not thousands of dollars invested into their games.
That's an easy. Well, I couldn't give you a total, but the game I spent the most on is Destiny by far.
Okay.
Because I played it for,
so you bought all the expansions kind of thing?
Yeah, all through like the first 6 years of it. So I have no idea what the total was.
And each of those expansions that came out, they were almost full price, right?
Not initially. Initially, they were in the $40 range Canadian, but yeah, now the last I think the last one that I paid for was more than that. But the last few years, they've been full price, like you're buying a whole new game. I think that's absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, that 100%. There's, again, an overvaluation of the content. They're charging you, essentially, took the same engine, modified, upgraded a little bit, added a new story, and hey, you're going to pay all this money for it.
Yeah, and they've conveniently forgot that their original excuse for the Eververse was to pay for that content and free events and stuff. Well, the free events were trash. I mean, last I played anyway. And I don't think I ever saw a free expansion, to be honest. And they don't even drop raids with their expansions anymore, where before you always got a raid and everything. When they were doing the big annual release, came with a new raid and stuff. From what I understand, that's not the case anymore. I wouldn't know. I haven't played for a few years, but, ultimately, it's an expensive game to play.
Yeah. How about you, Game Complainerz? Anything kind of egregiously got opened your wallet?
It was like WWE, I think 2K21 or 22 or something.
Okay.
It was the one with the NWO edition. I was like, all right, because they were trying to say, oh, it might be limited edition. So I'm like, all right, you got me. I did save a few dollars on it though, so I didn't pay the full 120. I think I paid like $80. But that's it. I usually don't buy DLC.
Yeah. I don't buy a whole lot unless it's reasonably priced. Certain things, like I'm a sucker for Gears of War content in any game. So if there's heck, I even bought the stupid Gears of War little dude for, what's that game, Fall Guys?
Oh, yeah.
So even for Fall Guys, I had to buy the little Marcus Phoenix outfit to go on my little bean player. He looks so badass walking around in his little boots,
Yeah.
That sort of thing. Everybody has their thing, but there's lines we all draw in the sand somewhere. There's I like it if you're going to do the game at full price, you have a reasonable price DLC and you get everything all included. So whatever comes down the pipeline for the game, you should get it for the extra $20 or whatever, and boom, right? But that's the thing. See, back in the day, you guys remember the 360 era when you knew exactly what you were getting when you paid for DLC? Like they told you it's going to include 10 maps, 5 players, blah, blah, blah. And now these companies, a lot of times, they want you to pay for DLC before you even know what the DLC is going to entail. You're like, well, we're paying for it, but we don't know what we're going to get. They could give you 2 maps and 2 skins and go, here you go. And you're like, oh, okay. We're at that point where it's kind of gotten like that, where they're just banking on this shit now.
Yeah. It's like all the deluxe versions these days, right? The deluxe used to be the complete, game that usually included some kind of the first DLC or whatever. Now you get, a day or two early access with a skin. Or some special weapon skins or something. It's actually really lame when you think about it, what you get for your money. But yeah, it's all a dangerous road to start going down too much, and that's why I just generally don't. I am guilty of buying some skins in Halo, though. I'll confess to that. I'm contributing to that cash cow.
Yeah, any of those ninja skins, I'm in.
Yeah.
That what is it? The Nori core? All of them.
Yeah, we know a lot of guys, they spend a lot of money on Mortal Kombat. It's one of the games that a lot of people buy characters for. So everybody has their thing, and there's hundreds of fans. But again, it just comes down to reasonably priced. Now, what is reasonably priced? It depends on the person, how much you're willing to pay. Obviously, somebody who's dropping constantly like $15 and $15 of Fortnite skins, but obviously feel it's reasonable because they keep buying the damn things, and that's why they're like at least two. Can you at least, if you're going to overcharge, at least once in a while maybe have a sale on some of this shit, because some of the stuff is like, and this is one of the things I said too, like where Game Pass needs to pick it up, and where Game Pass could be more successful is when you're getting these games, or when you're buying these games or whatever, or playing these games, like there should be a lot more discounts on content to go with them. So say you buy the digital copy off of Game Pass or whatever because you played it through there. There needs to be more, and then sometimes there is, and I think there is a default on a lot of the games. Am I correct? When you basically download the game or you get it, there's some discounts usually through there for getting it on Game Pass.
The base game, yeah. I think you also get discounts on the deluxe editions, but not the in-game content. The in-game content's full price.
Because remember back in the years, like when a lot of those Call of Duty games came out, right? And they came up with the DLC. And then like the game is 3 years old and you can buy the game on the store for like $19.99, but they're still charging you full price for the DLC. So the DLC costs more than the damn game. And I've seen this on numerous occasions where they're giving you the base game away at almost next to nothing, but they're not adjusting the cost of the DLC. And it's like, guys, you got to wake up. This is a total, like, this is nonsense. You know what I mean? That's like saying I'm going to pay $1,000 for my car, but I'm going to pay $5,000 for the fucking tires, right? You'd be like, what? Mm-hmm. It's the same shit. They don't adjust. Like after 3 years on a site, all of that stuff should be permanently marked down. Permanently. It should be down next to nothing. You want to get more people into your ecosystem as it gets older, not the other way around, right? You should still be if you're going to keep the servers alive, keep it alive with people that are buying the content. Don't wait till fucking 20 years later. You're like, yeah, I think we'll finally put it on sale. Maybe somebody will come back and play it. It's like 3 people playing. Remember the disappointment when you finally could afford the map packs and nobody was playing the fucking things? You're getting there, it's like, can't find anybody to play the game because nobody's playing the map packs, right? Because they're finally cheap enough for us to buy them, but now everybody left the game. You're like, oh, that's great.
Yeah, that's why I hated map packs. Even if you bought them early, half the time most of the people didn't have them. So
back in the day when they had that compatibility issue, you couldn't play with half your friends because somebody had map packs. And you're like, well, I guess I can't play that with you.
Yeah,
this player does not have updated map packs. You're like, oh.
Yeah, I got to set the record straight. Apparently, Destiny is releasing a lot of raids still, so I take that back. Back from the Dead corrected me on that in the chat. So
yes, Back would know. Sure. Back's got a lot of hours in, probably up in your territory.
Yeah. I think I've put around 4,500 hours into it in the first 6 years.
Jeez.
Yeah, I played a lot, but I haven't played it all really in 3 years. So.
God.
Dude, they changed the game so much.
I think after 500 hours, you got it. You have Destinied out.
Yeah, I played it quite a bit. There you go, 6,500. So yeah, he's got me by a couple thousand hours. Mind you, if I was still playing over 3 years,
500 hours ventilated. Those are rookie numbers.
Close. Yeah, I'd have been close, right? I'd have been close, but.
My favorite memory from playing Destiny 2, to be quite honest with you guys, I don't know if you ever heard the story, was the first time I actually got to talk to Phil Spencer in person. That's my coolest memory.
Nice.
Yes, sir.
Oh, cool.
Phil Spencer was actually playing Destiny one night, and this was back, God, when I was, what podcast was I on then? But, I can't remember exactly which podcast I was at the time. It was just shortly after Destiny 2 came out. You guys probably didn't know, if you didn't know already, that Phil is a massive fan of Destiny. Mm-hmm. He played it quite regular, and he was just playing a game, and of course it was like join game or whatever, right? So I joined in on the game, and I was on his team or whatever, and we were shooting shit. We played for about 15 minutes or so. It wasn't that long, and before he hopped off, but I did get in, and I was like, Phil, what's up? I'm a big fan, and love Xbox. And then we was just talking, and he was telling me how he's getting ready to go on a vacation and stuff like that at the time, and it was awesome. I think the Series X had just come out shortly after Series X, so yeah, somewhere back then. But it was pretty cool, man. It was awesome. So that was my favorite memory, actually getting to talk to the man himself.
Wow,
nice.
Yeah. So
that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it was cool.
So when you said which game have we spent the most money on, you're talking like the singular most money we've spent on one game?
Well, between like buying the game itself, I mean, if it's a standalone game, like I remember paying $120 Canadian for the Sega Genesis version of Strider from Capcom. Okay, get that, $120 in 91, 92 when that game came out on the Genesis.
So that's like what, $300 now, probably.
Yeah, that was crazy. I remember having to order I used to have to order half my Genesis games from Ontario because Newfoundland didn't have like fuck all. Like I couldn't find their games at half the stores because their distribution was still absolutely fucking shit.
Wow.
Right? It was getting better than it was during the Sega Master System years, which up here in Canada, I'm not sure who distributed Sega Master System in the US, but up here in Canada, Tonka was actually the distributor, believe it or not, for Sega Master System. They did a horrible job. Tonka, obviously, guys, if you didn't know, were the guys who make those construction trucks and shit. Yeah. And they were the actual distributor
Tonka Toys, man.
Tonka Toys distributed Sega. And Sega Master System was a hard son of a bitch to get a hold of up here too. So I used to have to order a lot of it through like Sears catalog and shit like that.
Sears,
so Sears.
They were the Amazon before Amazon was,
Absolutely.
They just couldn't keep up.
There was Sears and a little place called Consumers Distributing at the time. That's where I had to get a lot of my Sega stuff, and it was hard. It was hard to track the games, and I had to pay like extra money to get them. But yeah, $120 was the steepest I paid for like a cartridge game. And then I suppose I don't know the rest. I mean, outside of collector's editions and stuff, I don't know. I mean, I spent quite a bit of money on Gears content, I guess you could say, but nothing egregious.
So I'm about even on two games. So on the spending side, League of Legends is a free-to-play game, and you can pay to have access to certain champions like a week earlier than everybody else when they first come out, and you get some special skins in this and that, right? I would say on League of Legends, I'm probably close to $1,000 on combined skins over like a decade.
Does your wife know that?
Fortunately, my wife met me after I kind of put League of Legends to the side. I still play it every now and again, but I don't buy. Okay, I think I bought a skin like a year ago, but I'm not
like, dear, our mortgage is going to be late again this month. Why?
Oh no, the mortgage is never late. The mortgage is never late. But so League of Legends, probably that one, and probably about $100 a year. That sounds about right on that game because, man, you want to talk about a game I was addicted to. I played League of Legends more than I worked. I mean, I was trying to be like, master tier, all these other stuff. I mean, I was into it.
Jeez.
And then the singular most expensive game I bought is a rare game called Panzer Dragoon Saga for my Sega Saturn. I paid about a little under $1,000 for it. And I'm so happy I did because now my whole Panzer Dragoon collection is complete. I got it all. And then I came to find out that there's a Panzer Dragoon OST on CD. So now that's next on the list. And that there's a very, very, very rare officially released Panzer Dragoon statue out there. Only about 1,000 of them were made, and they're never for sale. But if I ever see one, I might have to buy it.
Oh, nice.
So, I can. I get the collectible thing, right? Like,
it's a collector's item for sure.
Yeah. Those,
and Portal Play. Yeah, $1,000 for one game. You should have seen my wife. She was here when I bought it. Yeah, she couldn't believe it, and I play that game consistently. I'm getting my $1,000 out of it. Dang it!
There you go. Yeah, I think other than Destiny aside, if we want to talk single game, it would be Starfield because I bought the collector's edition. So, that's a big expense with the watch and everything, or in terms of gaming anyway, it's a big expense.
Yeah, collector's editions. I count them and I don't count them per se because a lot of those are always expensive. Most of them, you're going to pay $150 or the $300 kind of thing on most of those games. So, those are, we collect that stuff. So I do count it, but I don't. It's different when you're paying like $70 for your game. It's regular price, and you still go out and invest like $300 after the fact, right? That shit's kind of like, wow, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You actually spent more on content for the game than the actual game itself. That's where it really goes, whoa.
Well, and that's why you have Take-Two talking about charging more for their game, right? The precedent's kind of in a way already been set with DLCs and all that. And
But it's just coming from a place of being maybe a little too cocky or over evaluating their game, because again, they've gotten away with 10 years of remaking this game 3 times, for 3 different console iterations. And the fact that their online blew up and became super popular, I mean, it was not a good place when it started, but you look at it now and all these shark cards and all the stuff, I mean, it's one of the most popular games on the planet. Don't tell me all those people that are playing the campaign. I mean, a few people do. I buy it for the campaign. I don't play for the multiplayer. Never did. I only played the multiplayer a handful of times. We actually had fun with it a few times on Xbox Community Game Night. Games, like I said, I can't believe how far that game came from where it started to where it is now. Like, there's not much you can't do with GTA 5, but at the same time, it's old in the tooth. It's time for the new one. And again, like, is this a little bit too cocky to think that their game? Because I don't hear anybody else talking about it. I mean, heck, if the Bethesda guys got to talk about all the hundreds of hours their fans playing their games, right? So we're going to start paying $150 for a game because they just 40 plus hours of content. Well, what about all those fans that pay for the content and spent 2 hours ago? I'm fucking want to return this to the store, right?
Oh yeah.
So yeah,
no doubt, man. Like,
any further thoughts on this from anybody?
I'm not paying per hour.
All you can do as a gamer is just say no. Resist the FOMO and stick to your guns. Don't do it, and maybe the message gets across. But sadly, I think we're in the minority in terms of gamers that actually care about their wallet and what they spend their money on, right? The kids these days don't know any better, and I say kids, but I'm referring to the 20-somethings that maybe got a job now, still living at home. Where I think most of us in my generation, anyway, by the time we were in our 20s, we're out on our own, right, paying bills and doing stuff. These days, kids tend to stick around a lot longer, so they have maybe more disposable income on that.
Well, let me tell some of you youngins over here that if you're going to start paying by the minute or by the hour, there is cheaper entertainment you can get from a hooker in Edmonton, okay?
Except those will take away your health instead of refilling your health.
Either which way, you're kind of fucked. So let's send a message.
Oh my!
All righty, let's get a super chat here. Let's bring this one up real quick. Darko's Dreamers drops $5. Take it away, mental.
Virtual on the Sega Dreamcast with twin sticks and system from Japan, and the disc to help localize the system was around 900 in all. Jeez. Oh
yeah, I know which one he's talking about. Yeah. It's very hard to find.
What was another one too? Was a Steel Battalion or Steel something, like a tank thing, and it had this gigantic controller.
Oh. Yep. I got that one too.
Hot damn.
I showed it off in one of the episodes of Iconic Video Games. We had the most interesting things in our collection, and that's one of the things I showed off.
Yeah. Game Complainers, weren't you saying you tried to stock Neo Geo cartridges but figured out that only a half dozen took up half your wall space?
I can't even afford Neo Geo. It's just like a whole other conversation.
Neo Geo is there's the rich man's collection.
Bro, I remember looking
at
it.
Was that the minute it came out, and it still is.
When that system first came out and I saw that shit, I wanted one so bad. I was like, dude, but these cartridges are huge and they cost like a couple $100 a piece. I said, what the hell?
They're a couple of $1,000 a piece.
Yeah, if you knew a kid who had a Neo Geo, you're like, your parents are rich, man. Your parents are rich. Because nobody in my neighborhood had a Neo Geo. That's the only console I can say that nobody that I knew fucking owned one.
Yeah, same.
I've seen them, but no one I ever knew ever owned one.
You were rich if you had a Turbo Graphics or Turbo Express back then.
Right? The Turbo Express, I think, was cool.
Now it's
I to this day have never seen a Neo Geo in person. So, yeah, they're very...
Oh, me neither.
Yeah, people who got them, hold on to them.
The Atari Jaguar wasn't quite as much money, but I never knew anyone who had that either. Actually, no, I had no friends that ever had a Jaguar. I had no friends that ever had a 3DO. There's a couple of consoles that just kind of eluded everybody. They were hard to find around my neck of the woods, too.
Well, I mean, the Atari Jaguar with that whole do the math 64 bits, but you see the games and they don't look 64-bit.
No.
They might say do the math, but I'm also like, my eyes are telling me you're lying.
You're like, yeah, do the math, but you guys don't. Nothing adds up. You're like 3 + 3 is 9.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, their games
Yeah.
outside of a couple that looked pretty cool at the time. Like I remember Alien versus Predator was a pretty wild looking game. There was a few decent versions, but otherwise, like you, Axel, you're just kind of like, I'm not seeing what you got. You're touting this most powerful console, but nothing looks really that good on it.
It didn't look any better than the Saturn or the PlayStation at the time, which was the competition. And then when the 64 came out, it really you're not 64-bit at all.
Yeah, totally. Jesse Darby. Well, you can spend $1,000 on one, Jesse, and still come up with STDs. So, right? You just got to be careful of the cheaper ones. Some of them don't use protection, apparently. I've never beat Sewer Shark on Sega CD. No, probably didn't. All right, guys. Awesome people in the chat.
That game. Don't do it. Why do you torture yourself?
Sergeant Sentinel is gracious with his presence. He's in the chat. Good to see you, Sarge. Glad you could be here, guys. Amazing chat. Doggy Dog is saying, oh, this Portal player is here. Back from the dead saying, oh, it's Darko's Dreamers. Lots of great people. So Cyber Gunter in the chat earlier. Timmy is still here. Lots of awesome people. Talos Ray is here. Casket Repairs in the building. Just so many awesome people. The King was here earlier, but he had to leave the building. So good to see you, King. Thanks for all the love and support, my brother. Ever since he found out about the channel, he's been pretty religious in the chat ever since. You guys are fantastic. Yeah, he's lurking for a bit. Just got a Billy jump in. Well, we appreciate you being here, my friend. It's awesome. We got an awesome panel tonight. We're ready to jump into topic number 2 before we bring in my special personalities for the evening. If I can even do one tonight with my throat the way it is. All right, so let's go into topic number 2. The first one, like I think we all feel pretty well the same about it. You know, we got our ceiling, so to say, and we're going to tell you right now to the CEOs of Rockstar or anybody else for that matter, guys, do not take your player base for granted. Do not treat us like we are just money banks. We will speak up. We will fight against you. At least the smart ones will. There's going to be a bunch of dumb ones that don't care because mommy's footing the bill. Right? Hey, mommy, I want that game. It's $200, Johnny. I want that game. Okay, stop. If you shut up, I'll give you the game. Okay. Right? Something like that. So, but yeah. So the next topic is going to be, this will be a really fun one. I can't wait to get into this with the guys. The best of our bad games. Now, I use that term figuratively because there have been a lot of games over the last couple of years and throughout the generations that don't necessarily score 8s or 9s or 10s, or they're not critically acclaimed, but they come out and they leave a mark. They leave a mark, at least on you, if nobody else, that you played and you love the pieces, played them several times. And you're sitting there going, I don't understand why this game scored so bad or why it didn't resonate, because you think it's fantastic. Again, this is all opinion. Some of the games I might pick on my list, guys might be like, God, those games were shit. I hated them. But look, that's the whole point. This is going to be fun. We're going to get Game Complainerz to lead us off on this one. But I want to know at least a couple of the games that you played in recent memory that, again, they weren't critically acclaimed games. They weren't games that the whole world talked about on end for months on end, but you loved them and played them. We all have a couple in our collection. I'm playing one right now that I'm like, why did this game not score better? Or why did people give up on it so early? So anyway, Game Complainerz, take it away.
There was a game called Murdered Soul Suspect. It's by Square. The game got bombed because it wasn't the typical Square RPG type thing. It's more like a horror game. It's like a horror investigative type game, but it's actually got a really good story. I beat the whole game in one sitting. It was about a 6-hour game.
Yeah.
I didn't do all the quests and everything, but pretty much played the whole campaign. I couldn't stop playing the game. I literally stayed up all night and played it. My wife was going to work when I was beating the game, so I was like,
I know the game you're talking about. I actually have it on my hard drive. It's on my backlog, and I've never played it.
And that game is like $1.99 all the time. And it's like, nobody knows how cool this game is. I always tell people when it's on sale, it's like, hey, pick this game up. It's like $2, $3, $1.99, whatever it is. Get it. And
what kind of game is this? Is an action mystery, right? A little bit of.
Say that game again.
It's called Murdered Soul Suspect.
Murdered Soul Suspect.
And it is, if you like the horror genre, and like
got a 59.
Yeah,
Metacritic.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
it's really good. I enjoyed the game.
That's sorry. It got a 59. It's really good.
But this is the perfect, again, this is why we brought
Yeah,
this up, because he loves it, he thinks it's great. So you love the game. Obviously, you probably read reviews on it, I'm sure. Like, did you play it before or after the reviews and kind of go, I don't know why they torched it? Like, did you pick it up on a discount, or did you do the old got baited and bought it day one kind of deal? Like, how was it for you?
I go on better. I pirated it because I was like, what is this game? And I beat the whole game straight through. And later that afternoon, I bought it on Xbox One and PlayStation 4.
Nice. There you go. So you
just to have it. And then when it went on sale on Steam, I bought it on Steam. So
there you go. He bought several copies of it. So more than paid up for his error of his ways in the first part. Yeah.
If the game is good, I'm gonna go out and buy it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But again, it was good to you. So what do you think that the developer or the people that rated it, what do you think that they were seeing that you obviously didn't see the same as them?
I think they saw that Square was like the publisher and were like, hey, this isn't Final Fantasy. And it's like, okay, but like today everyone's mad because nobody takes chances. They took a chance.
True.
And it was actually a really good story. Like, I'm playing the game, I was like, I can't go to bed. I got to finish this. I got to know what happens.
Would you say marketing was also part of the reason the game wasn't a critical success? Because, like, to me, I remember when the game came out, but it didn't get a big push at all.
Yeah, I think that, I think like the head of Square was like, it's not our typical game that we make, so we're not even going to bother.
Let's make something to see if it applies to the Western audience, right? Who've been kind of fickle on anything that wasn't Final Fantasy.
Right. And I think if they would have pushed it a little bit, you would have gotten some interest, but they really didn't care about it. So, but I enjoyed the game a lot, and I think anybody should check it out. I don't really look at Metacritic. I never visit those websites.
Yeah.
So like, I'll play a game, and if the game sucks, I'll tell people. I'll be like, the game's not that good. And here's the thing: if people ask me my opinion, I'll tell them. Not like GameStop. You walk in there, hey, I want to buy this game. Yeah, the game sucks. Don't buy it. All right, I'm leaving. I'm not buying anything. You're almost out of business. If you ask my opinion, I'll give you my opinion. But I ain't gonna throw my opinion out there.
Doggy Dog has got one in the chat that didn't get the much love it deserved. Mad Max. That game was well done.
Yeah.
Well done.
Doggy loves his Mad Max, man. He's brought it up many times on iconic video games.
It's funny because they launched that game alongside Mad Max Fury Road, and for some reason people just avoided the game. It just and it had decent scores too. It wasn't like a game that was like middling scores. It was good scores, but it just felt like nobody played it. And when they did, they were all playing it years later when it was on sale or whatever, had some of the upgraded patches or whatever. But yeah, it was pretty wild. How about you, Axel? What's one of your games before we get to Metal? We'll go at least with one game first, and we'll come back around.
Just thinking off the top of my head here. I can't stop talking about how good this indie game has been, and I feel like nobody's really picking it up. And that's Bramble, the Mountain King.
It was good.
That game, I played the first like 30 minutes. I'm like, oh my God, it's just a bunch of stupid mini games. It's a hide and seek, and it's an escort this and escort that. And then it got dark. And I don't mean dark, like
dude, the witch in the swamp, man. Holy shit.
Dude, the lady that lured away all the farm guys.
Right?
That was crazy. But like it got dark. Like you want to talk about like a game that makes you feel like, I'm doing this for the greater good. You're sacrificing your friends, using them as trap bait. I mean, and then at the end where like the whole purpose of you wanting to go on this mission. So, not to go to, I'm going to give away like maybe the first 40 minutes, you and your sister out and about having a good time in the daytime. And she gets kidnapped by a troll. And as you play the game, you find out why she got troll napped. I'm not going to say why. Yeah. But let's just say that I definitely thought I was not going to be able to rescue my sister at the end there. Like it got dark, and the ending and the boss fight and that song that modified song. It's a very popular song. but it's modified to the gameplay. It's crazy good. It's crazy good. Like I cannot get over how good Bramble has been as far as an indie experience. You should play it.
I gotta agree with you.
Coolcat Terri recommended it, and then Phil Spencer recommended it, and I'm like, all right, I'll try it. And I was like, it's not my cup of tea, but as I said, you just gotta wait till it gets dark, and it gets dark in like the first 40 minutes.
Yeah,
not just dark like the bad stuff that's happening, but also dark in the game, like the daylight. It turns into night.
Yeah,
once it gets dark, that's when the
and
the messed up stuff happens.
It's a game that you can beat in like either one sitting or a couple of sittings. It's not super long, but it looks like the graphics are good, and it has so many eerie scenes. It has stuff. They did stuff in that game for a game that you wouldn't think is the way it is. Like Axel says, when it gets dark, and some of the boss fights and some of the characters and just the way that they did some of the level design, it's like, man, this shit was brilliant. It was great. Yeah, it was great.
It was crazy, and it just. You go from being an innocent kid playing to, being a murderer almost. I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah, and did you know there's an achievement for stabbing the hag lady or whatever, like about 100 times?
100 times?
Yeah, you know the part where you got to press the button to stab her?
Yeah.
You keep stabbing her like 100 times, you get an achievement for that.
Oh wait! I think you're right. I think I got it. Because I was like, is it gonna let me
stop? Master gets stabbed. Oh.
Like how much longer? Because you know what
sorry
I'm
guys, that's
about,
not my masturbation face.
Ironic how similar your murder and masturbation face look. So they're beating his meat as much as he's beating that hag lady. Bramble, I can't speak highly enough on it, man. It's way better than the Metacritic score.
Yeah, great pick, Axel. I gotta agree with you on that one. I played it and totally enjoyed it. And again, there's another beautiful thing about Game Pass. I probably would have literally passed on that game if it wasn't for Game Pass. And I went and played it. I beat it. I loved it. And I was like, this is a fantastic game.
Yeah, highly recommended.
Yeah, and it was an indie, right? Not even
it's
a big
an indie
AAA
game. Yep.
But it felt like it had AAA quality, right?
Portions of it did. Like the art style definitely feels AAA. I'll tell you that much. The art style and the music feels AAA. The gameplay is simplistic overall. That part doesn't feel AAA, but I mean, it's still such a good game. You should definitely play it. Did you find all the books?
I did.
That tell you?
No.
I love the parts like after you're done playing the game or the level, if you find a book in the next level, it basically tells you the story of the level you just finished. Love those books. Yeah,
they're cool. Mental, how about yourself? What's one of your picks?
Well, now I'm torn. One of them, I'll go with the one I was originally going to say, and I just played it recently, The Order 1886 on PlayStation.
Another good one. Yeah.
That game, I think it had around a 63 meta, something like that, give or take. And, I started playing it multiple times back in the PS4 era, and because I was so heavy into Destiny, I just never stuck with it and actually gave it a fair chance. I just kept thinking, oh, that opening kind of sequence was kind of cool. Actually, I'd like to keep playing this, but I can't because I got to level up for Iron Banner or whatever was coming, right? So... I finally got around to going back to it and playing through it, and I'm glad I did. It was a good game. I quite enjoyed it. The things that people complained about before, like its letterbox view and things like that, I find kind of silly that was even a complaint when you think about it now. But I would recommend if you've got a PlayStation, it's worth a look. You can get it super cheap. Yeah.
To me, it was like a steampunk version of kind of Gears of War to a certain extent. It had that feel of a Gears of War game, but yet it kept it a little more grounded, sort of in the horror sort of stuff. It was a really good game.
Yeah, it's cover shooter genre, right? Like just like Gears, you're always looking for cover and you're popping your head up and taking your shots. I had a lot of fun with it. Definitely,
the weapons are really cool too.
I would recommend. Yeah, futuristic yet, like you say, the steampunk aspect of it, where it's like an old school or olden days kind of game, but with the modern twist to it. Some of the weapons are pretty wild, like the thermite gun and stuff, and the electric one. I forget what it was called, but bolts of electricity. I mean, hey, if you can't shoot it out of your hands,
you get up on that blimp level, and then there's the fights against the werewolves and shit. Was that cool?
Yeah, it was pretty crazy. It had a lot more to it than I expected, and it's not an overly long game, so it's something you can sit down and, if you sat down in an afternoon, you'd wrap it up that day if you're playing straight through. But it was a good time. I definitely enjoyed it. I've got another one, but I'll save. Well, actually, I've got a few, but I'll let you go ahead,
Boom. You know what else is impressive about the game? You know what the studio had worked on previously to that game? It was Ready at Dawn, and all they had up to that point was PSP games. They had made the God of War game, Chains of Olympus, and the other God of War game that came after that. That was their previous experience, but yet they came out with this game and pumped out like Naughty Dog level visuals. And a game that's still going to look good 5 years from now. And a game that, again, was largely knocked because it was a bit short, because it had some of the QuickTime style, interactions with some of the levels and enemies. But there was a lot to like about the game. And, it didn't bullshit you around. There wasn't all this fucking DLC and all this, like bullshit of earning weapons or leveling up and shit like this and weird life meters. And there was nothing. The game was straightforward. It was like classic gaming right there in a nutshell.
Yeah, no, I definitely, like I say, I would recommend it. If you've got a PS4, it's cheap. Like you can often get it for $10 Canadian or less. Yeah. So you might even find it in the used bin at a GameStop or something for $5. Definitely worth it if you do.
Well, the game that I'm playing right now that kind of draw up sort of this conversation is Callisto Protocol. I read some of the reviews. I took a bit of a wait and see approach because I'm not the hugest fan of sort of horror sci-fi genres to begin with. It wasn't like the hugest Dead Space fan, to be honest with you. But, the price was right, and I'm like, I'm going to dive into this game. You know what? I'm playing it, and I'm actually even playing the Xbox One version. And I can't, and even on the Xbox One version, which I'm playing on my Series X, I don't really see what everybody was griping about. Like, the game looks fucking phenomenal, even that version.
Yeah.
And it plays pretty good. I mean, I get that they took a bit of a weird approach with the controls, but I think I get what they're going with there. Like why they selected the controls the way that they did. And I feel like as long as, like, because I hear all the time you're getting surrounded by enemies that got complex. Well, I think that's if you're really trying to focus in on a certain enemy. But what I found is as soon as you get surrounded is try to run a little bit and space yourself out from the enemies to give yourself enough time to react. Yeah, if you've got 5 guys wailing on you, sure. But that's what you do. You pick off the guy that's closest, get yourself some space, that sort of thing. But just the acting, the mocap, the environments and stuff, I just think it's really cool. But I'm just going to say that my pick for this, that's the kind of game that got me rolling on this topic. But my game, I'm going to have to go back and pick Rise, Son of Rome. Because no other game came out to this date that impressed me for a launch title that held up after the launch was well past, stands up against the current generation of games, came out on the Xbox One Fat, looking like that.
Yeah.
A game that actually made you feel like a gladiator. Here's another cool tidbit. You guys know that the actor who did the mocap and the voice acting for that character, the main character, I forget his name actually, but he played Elrond in Horizon Forbidden West and Horizon Zero Dawn. So he played Elrond, the other character that goes with the big sideburns, the chops. That's the same guy, if people didn't recognize that. Yeah, but he plays the lead character, Rise, Son of Rome, a game that was originally supposed to be a Kinect title, as a matter of fact, but they switched gears on it because Kinect was kind of going the wrong direction, and somehow they improvised it, which would probably explain some of the quick time-ish actions of when you're killing people. But to me, that was a bonus, not a detraction, because to me that was cool. Because the game would slow down and you'd literally slice through people's arms and their legs and you'd see the blood flying. It was like getting Mortal Kombat vibes over here while I was playing. I was like, I didn't see it as a detractor. I thought it was like, it gives you a chance to go with like a high strike with an X, or you press a Y button and you're going to cut off another limb. So it just made every time you killed somebody feel a little more impactful than just, hey, slice, 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 guy drops to the ground. Yeah, it got a little tedious after a couple hours. I get that. But the levels looked amazing. And there was levels that had the big gun, the turrets, and then like it was just amazing, and it looks so damn cool. And I was really digging the vibe, and I just think that, and even the multiplayer in that game was a blast. I played it several times at the co-op mode, and you're in these like the big coliseums. You're taking on the all sorts of waves of enemies and setting the booby traps and stuff. That was so cool, man. So I got to say Rise, because that's a title that has long deserved a sequel. That a lot of people now, they go back and play it today and go, yeah, man, Rise really didn't get the love it deserved. And it's a game that I swear to God, I wish Microsoft could get the rights to it off freaking off of Crytek and make an actual official sequel, because I think it would. The second one I think would sell like gangbusters. And if they can make it look and play as cool as the original, like hot damn, man, Rise Center Rome deserves a lot more praise than it ever got. And yeah, it was definitely one of my games that I'm like, yeah, this is a game that should have been rated better. More people should have played it. Rise, right there.
Yeah, a game that like I actually loaded that up a couple months back and started playing it again and fell away from it because I was just into too many other games. But it is impressive as to how good it still looks today. CryEngine at the time wasn't really known for being able to run fairly well on what was a relatively weak system, but man, oh man, they did a fantastic job with that game. And it, the old VCR Xbox, for as weak as it was, played it fairly well, right? And it was knocked for being 900p. Oh, it wasn't 1080p. It was making everybody a worse gamer, I guess. But ultimately, it was a great looking game. But yeah, great game.
Yeah. Well, it doesn't take a person with perfect 20/20 vision to tell when there's a nice set of tits in front of you or an ugly set of tits, okay? It's the same way with games. A couple 100p isn't going to dissuade your view or your take on a game. Like, there's a difference between resolutions and graphics. You know what I mean? Because a Naughty Dog game could run at 720p and still look fucking way better than half the shit we got out there today, because their graphics are good. It's their textures, it's their realism, it's their mocap, it's all those extra things that make the game stand out. And I think that's why Rise is so cool, because they had actual mocap. It was really good, and it's Crytek. I mean, Crytek's always been known for pushing the envelope of a lot of their games with the CryEngine. Like the foliage in that game looked amazing. The trees, the branches, the water, like every little thing, even just the way the metals and stuff looked at, their suits looked ultra realistic. And this is something, like I said, it's called stylization, or it's called a realism. And some games do it really well, and some games don't. And that to me is one of the detractors from like Starfield, for example, is that it's still using that dated Bethesda engine, which I think they got to soon move away from it, because the character models just don't cut it, to my personal opinion, by today's standards. The game itself has a lot more going on, of course, than just character graphics. I get it. But like by now, with all the development time they've had and all the money they put in, I just expect more from Bethesda. And I hope by the time they make their next game, it starts to look a little more cutting edge than what we saw in Starfield.
Yeah, the character animations are not great. Character faces, not great. That's for sure. The rest of the game looked pretty good, in my opinion. But when it came down to the NPCs and stuff, that was
yeah, the ships look cool. The levels look pretty cool. I mean, when you're looking at your character from a third-person perspective back on, they look pretty cool. But as soon as you got to the dialogue, it's like, ooh, these plasticky, bug-eyed faces are back again.
Yeah. Bethesda face.
Bethesda face. Game Complainerz got one going on right now. You just can't see his eyes.
I thought for being procedurally generated, like from what I understand, they used AI to procedurally generate the reactions on the face based on the tone of their voices, and I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, there was parts of it that were all right. I mean, the mouth moved quite nicely for the words that were being said. That's kind of a weird way of saying that, but that part of the animation was great. I think it's just,
I like the way your lips look.
It's that plasticky, there's no what's the crap. I'm drawing a blank on it anyway, but it's like specular highlights, I guess, on the skin and things. It just didn't have that realism.
People look like that in video games. I always thought they looked plastic.
Their damn skin always looks like orange peels. It's like, what's going on here?
They look like Barbies.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, no. Starfield is amazing.
Love it.
I mean, I could list off
Love
probably half a dozen games that would take all night, but does anybody have anything else an honorable mention?
For games that didn't get enough love?
Yeah.
Or games that deserve a sequel? Which one are we doing?
Either or. You take a pick.
Oh, okay. So I'll move over to games that deserves a sequel. That's a game that I was literally playing before the show. I really think and is underappreciated, and that's Halo Wars 2. Halo Wars 2 to me is phenomenal. The story is incredible. It introduced Atriox, probably the most menacing bad guy we've seen in Halo since the original Brute Chieftain. He is insanely good, well portrayed in Halo Wars. The expansion, Awakening the Nightmare, was wow. When you got to play the other side. I liked the PvP. The Blitz mode was okay. I didn't like the Blitz mode, the card collecting mode. I really didn't like that one, but the PvP was good. And yeah, it is for an RTS. It's incredibly simplistic, but it was designed for consoles first, and it plays so good on the controller. Like I have this controller down, like second, like an extension of my own body. Like I play that game probably once a week at least. I play it on cloud. I play it on my Xbox. I play it on my PC. I play it everywhere. I'm obsessed with it, and I really feel like people didn't give it enough love. And I know this because Halo Wars, like even Xbox didn't give it enough love. Maybe they didn't have confidence in the product or something, because the E3 that it was announced in, it wasn't announced on the main stage. It was announced like on an after show. And when it was announced on the after show, I was like, oh my God, so cool. I was the only one out of everybody I knew. I wasn't in podcasting back then, but like nobody on podcast was excited for Halo Wars 2. I was literally the only person. I felt like the lone person on the island excited for Halo Wars 2. And it didn't sell well. From what I understand, in comparison to Halo Wars 1, it didn't sell well, but I hope they make a Halo Wars 3. They have to, because I love that game. I love that series. The offshoot,
who developed
the RTS offshoot, yeah.
Who developed Halo Wars? The same company did one.
So right? Relic Entertainment made Halo Wars, I think. Relic Entertainment made Halo Wars 2.
Mm-hmm.
And the shuttered studio, they had a studio that got shuttered, made Halo, the original Creative Assembly.
Right.
I think made one of the two.
And Xbox owns Relic now, don't they?
No, Relic is owned by Sega.
Oh, right.
Yeah. So I want to say that's who made it. Let me see. Halo Wars 2 wiki will tell me who developed it. Let's see. Halo Wars 2 was developed by Creative Assembly. Okay, so Relic made the first one, and Creative Assembly made the second one. So yeah, Creative Assembly, and of course, Creative Assembly got shuttered. Now it moves on to World's Edge, and hopefully, World's Edge will bring it around.
Yeah, I've never played Halo Wars at all, but
it's such a good story.
Really, I've heard the story's fantastic. It's just not really my style of game. But I'll tell you what, I would be down for a Quantum Break 2. That's my most underrated from last gen for Xbox. I loved Quantum Break, and I don't know why the score, I think Metacritic was around a 79 or 77, something like that, which isn't terrible, but it seemed to have this horrible perception, right? Where Control comes out, which is, pretty much just Quantum Break with a different reason for having powers. And it's, it's the greatest thing ever. What was different? It wasn't an Xbox exclusive. Xbox tax. But I'm joking, of course, but I think it was a great game. I'd love to see a part 2 to that. Really enjoyed.
But they made up reasons to like Control, but they made up a lot of reasons to try to not like Quantum Break. Do you know what I mean? It's like whenever there's a good Xbox game, it's like every review will go, "This is good, this is good, this is good," and then but the part of their review always becomes more important than the base of the review. It's like, but it runs at 900p, and it's got it's got these weird textures, or it's got some kind of bullshit. Always drags it down a couple, where it's just like,
they didn't like the film grain or something. I think was a big complaint with it.
The cutscenes are well. They tried something different.
The cutscenes,
the TV show merged with the game, and I thought it worked kind of cool. I thought it helped with the immersion, because it actually they were trying to build up the characters through those cutscenes. Well, Naughty Dog does it, but they're all just CGI cutscenes. That's the only difference.
Yep.
Right?
Naughty Dog
does fucking 15 minutes of fucking what's her name talking to the other girl and blah 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 blah, and you're just like, oh, that's cool. But they do live action, and all of a sudden, no, it's live action. You can't do that. No, come on,
that's
guys.
Bad.
Right?
It's one of the games I loaded up.
Games for like a fucking hour before you get to the action. All these Final Fantasy guys got to talk for a fucking hour, and it's like, oh, finally get to play something.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. It's one of the games I loaded up on my Steam Deck. It actually plays a lot better than I expected it to. So I'll probably do a playthrough on it just for fun. But that one. And then an honorable mention, I would say, is an indie game called Contrast. Yes. It's kind of weird, but that's one I got on the PS4 way back in the beginning. I think it was free, maybe part of PS Plus. Never played it, really. Played a little bit and thought, oh, okay, whatever. Moved on because Destiny. And finally went back to that one. And let's see, earlier this year probably is when I played it on Xbox, and I enjoyed it. It was a lot better than I expected it to be for, I think, it was around a 60 or so meta as well. Another one that didn't score well, but it was pretty cool. Once you gave it a little bit of time and got a bit further into the game, I enjoyed it.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
Anyway, that's it, other than, some other ones that are maybe more popular, but like Halo. Hey guys, give Halo another chance because it's really good right now. The old mantra, right? But Halo's dead. It's dead.
Halo was never dead. Even Halo Wars 2, it's not popular, but I can tell you, I spend maybe 30 seconds finding other players to play with.
Yeah,
it's funny that Halo's dead, and it generally always comes from a PlayStation fanboy that
Xbox talks.
Yeah. Halo is dead, but it usually comes from the Sony fanboys, the extremists, right? The Halo is freaking dead simply because of two things. One, they're jealous that Halo doesn't belong to Sony, and two, because all of the games that they wanted to invest in did nothing. So where's your Halo? Yeah. This is my question to the Sony fanboys out there. Where is your version of Halo? Do you have one?
Yeah.
Last time I remember, Resistance died and went the way of the dodo bird. Killzone was supposed to be the Halo killer. Didn't
got killed, its
own franchise. So where are your games that have stood any test of time in multi? Name one. Name one Sony-owned property that is ripping it up right now at all. I'm not talking about being top 10, but it's even in the top 50 streamed games online. Name me one.
Yeah. That lives there, right? And doesn't just disappear after a couple weeks. Yeah.
Only one that had any traction in the last few years, I think, was the Uncharted 4 multiplayer, and that didn't set the world on fire. And then they had a little bit of success with that mode that came out with the original Last of Us, whatever it was, a faction mode or whatever the hell they called it, which I did play, and I thought it was enjoyable. But again, it didn't. It never set the world on fire. And guess what? Where's that one we're waiting for? Ever since we bought The Last of Us Part 2, we're still waiting. Apparently, that's been put on infinite hold right now. So when you can come back and fight that argument with me, I'll take your word seriously. But let's face it, man, Nintendo's got more multiplayer games successful than Sony right now, and that is a fact, Jack.
Yeah, that's the truth. Hey, if you want to know the truth about how these guys actually feel about Halo, just look back to when they all thought that when Sony bought Bungie, they bought Halo, and how excited they were. and you go back and see what the bozos really think, right? But then when they found out, oh man, I was just shaking my head.
Destiny,
but
so we can give them that one, right? They do have
Yeah.
Destiny, which is pretty popular.
Yeah.
So that essentially now is Sony's biggest multiplayer hit, but that was successful long before it became a Sony property. So kind of in a way it counts, but it doesn't count.
It's their COD,
right? Yeah,
but just smaller. But yeah, it's.
How about you, GC? You got another game honorable mention?
I'll say I got two.
Go ahead.
Duke Nukem Forever.
Ooh, yeah.
And Recore.
Oh, there you go. Now you're talking.
I think Recore got shafted because of the Xbox thing. PlayStation journalist guys just
Xbox
put a hit on all the Xbox stuff. Because I'm playing the game. I'm like, this game's good. And then it's got like a 6 or a 7 or whatever. And I'm like, this is why I don't read this stuff, because I just play the game first.
Hey,
and I check it out.
I play games. I don't play Metascores or nominations.
Yeah, and I think the one thing with Xbox is, and this drives me nuts, and Phil Spencer mentions this too. Recore, it didn't really hit, so make it better. Make a second one. Give it another shot. Don't just leave it to die. And they had the definitive edition on PC. We just got a frame boost on the Xbox version like a year or two ago. But we never got the definitive edition of Recore on Xbox. That would be great for the Series X.
Yeah.
Show people today that are buying a Series X what that game was really made of. And that's something I really don't like about Xbox. I love Xbox. It's my preferred platform. I got all 3 machines over here. But at the end of the day, I don't like how they leave their games to die without trying to revive them or put a fresh coat of paint on them or do something. Like, don't just leave it there. Like, we still want to play it. You might not have had people own it in 2013, but 2023, come on.
You notice that a lot of the games are quick to leave to die, though, do not come packaged with any sort of multiplayer component. Because that's the thing. If a game can be average at best in terms of its campaign, but if you can somehow find an audience on your multiplayer, you can salvage it, right?
And that's the longevity.
Let's even take we can take Fortnite as a prime example. Fortnite was struggling when it came out of the gate. It was first of all they charged money for Fortnite, right? Fortnite was like a $40 like multiplayer game that was kind of humming its way along. Was people are like, yeah, it looks cool, blah blah blah.
World.
Right, and then all of a sudden they copied the PUBG managers. Oh, PUBG is onto something. They got this this battle royale mode. Let's do the same thing as PUBG. Let's make it a little simpler to play, and let's make it free to play. Most importantly, and boom! All of a sudden it took off like wildfire. And then of course they started adding all these characters that and they're genius. Let's take the most popular pop culture icons, slap them in this game, get kids who recognize that shit, and put them in there and bingo. Recipe for success. What can we say? Fortnite's one of the biggest games on the planet. It's crazy. As much as you hate Fortnite or not, you cannot deny that it resurged and kind of got a second lease on life, and now it's making absolute bank. So sometimes you don't have to reinvent the wheel. You just got to find something that ticks. I could say a game like Anthem is a perfect example. Anthem had the core things you needed in a game down. It had the gameplay mechanics were solid as shit. I mean, how many people said, my God, if they ever make an Iron Man game with the mechanics of freaking Anthem, it's going to be amazing. The environments looked cool. They had a lot of cool stuff going. The problem was Anthem had this weird contrived story that was largely told through these books and shit you found throughout the game. And people aren't going to sit there and read friggin' Bibles of game knowledge to find out how the game like the story of the game. You want to see it through the story. You want to feel like you're engaged in a story. And at the end of the day, that's the difference between Anthem and say Mass Effect. Is Mass Effect felt like you were playing a movie version of a great sci-fi thriller, whereas Anthem felt like you were just thrown into a world that had cool characters and cool mechanics, but there was no substance.
They should do a prequel that's actually the story of Anthem. Where it goes through all the stuff that you had to read about at the beginning and junk, right? And actually tell that story and play it. That might be cool, in my opinion, for what it's worth. Not much. Totally. But, there's definitely something they could do there to potentially revive that. as a IP, but will they? Who knows?
Yeah,
Who knows?
Recore was a fantastic little title. Had a great character. Had like a really cool environment, some great traversal stuff. Solid as fuck play mechanics, and it needed to be because it had some pretty incredible like shooting with platforming in there. And definitely, like I said, it had the makings of a really good game, but it had a small budget, small team. And it just came out at, I don't know, a weird time, and it just didn't get the sort of marketing push behind it. And it's too bad. We might never see a sequel to that game, but it had just a character that you wanted to really like. And, it wasn't trying to be like one of these characters pushing like the female power narrative. It just felt like a good, solid character. And that whole dog companion thing she had was great. And yeah, it was a really
should
cool
have gave her a taser, though. A taser,
right? Should have wiped everybody out with that thing, right? Just like Mary Jane, huh?
Oh yeah, you know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about. All she needs that
Spider-Man
taser.
can't knock out those guys in. It takes them 10 hits, but Mary Jane can one punch them.
Yeah, one hit him with that taser, you know. Yeah, yeah. That makes you wonder, like all Miles for all his electricity powers he's got there, his venom powers, and yet her taser's more powerful than all of it. It's so ridiculous, but whatever.
Is if it would be really funny if Insomniac game, if they make Spider-Man 3, they have a scene in the game where Spider-Man actually gets a taser and goes up to tase somebody and it doesn't work properly. To say, "Oh, darn this crap!" That'd be like a really throwback to the fans like complaining. But I would do that like just out of sort of a spite and a laugh. That'd be funny.
Yeah,
these tasers,
no
they
doubt.
never work for me.
The only other game I'll mention before I shut up on this topic would be Alien Isolation.
Yeah.
That's another one I really, really like that I don't know a lot of people that really got into it, but I've played it in its entirety twice, and I'll probably play it again on my Steam Deck because I get 90 frames per second on that puppy. So plays smooth on ultra settings, and yeah, it's I'll probably play through the whole thing again, just getting started in it, and I was like, oh man, I love this game.
What that game nailed was the atmosphere.
Oh yeah,
it had the atmosphere of the movies, and it kind of almost made you feel like you were in a movie because it was the way it played on sound. Yeah. It played on sound a lot more than it played on just visual. Because you know what to expect with the alien, and you know he's going to be there at some point in time. But it's that sound, it's that isolated loneliness, and you're the only person in that freaking ship, and I can hear all the like metal clanging, and you don't know when this fucking thing is going to be around you. You know?
Oh yeah, yep, amazing.
Like, yeah. Can you imagine that game in VR? Oh my god.
Oh man.
That shit would scare the pants off me, man.
Scare the pants off.
Apparently it scared the pants off of Mental. His camera broke. No, great selection game. But I'm going to jump in real quick with one. I won't say much more about it, then you guys can finish up. But I'm just going to pick one too that I'm just was playing the other day. I picked the game up. Got 2 copies of it actually recently because I actually bought it on the Switch. It was the Duke Nukem edition, and then I picked it up again on the Xbox, and that is a little game called Bulletstorm. Remember that one?
Yep.
Now, critically, it didn't have bad reviews. Critically, it was solid across the board. But man, I went back and played that the other day, and I'm thinking, damn, this game deserves a sequel. This game was amazing. Like, to me, I had so much fun playing that game. Like, it was so much funner to play that than almost any other shooter I've played in years. It was just... And the graphics still look good. Like even if you go back and play like the new remastered version, with the up frame rates and higher resolution and the 360, and it just looks cool. And it really was like Gears of War to a certain degree. Obviously, it borrowed largely from Gears. Obviously, People Can Fly did the large portion of but it was of course Cliffy B helped work on that title. If you guys remember, he was involved as well as Epic Games in the making of Bulletstorm. And basically, they tried to do a little bit of a Gears of War if it was a first-person shooter with crazy-ass weird kills. And that was the kind of the kick with that game was, trying to figure out clever ways to kill your enemy. The lasso them and then kick them into a spike fence or kick them into an electric fence or whatever it might be. But, yeah, man, Bulletstorm to me was fantastic and is one of those games that really deserves a sequel. But sadly, it probably won't because I don't think it was a massive sales juggernaut. And they didn't even include the multiplayer on the remaster either. They just kind of axed it out, even though it was a huge promotional feature of the game when it came out because you and your buddy could creatively find ways to kill enemies differently. It was kind of cool.
I actually, on my wish list is Bulletstorm VR.
Oh yeah, they do have a
They
VR
ported
version,
it over
don't they?
to the Quest, and I want to play it so bad. I'm like, oh, I remember this. I can't wait to, because like in good old Cliffy B style, it had giant monsters and everything was just massive and exploding. And I'm like, oh, imagine being in VR in that environment. I want to play it. But I also remember it being very fast, and I'm like, I don't know how that's going to play in VR, because if it's fast, you're going to see me just
on a good VR, just fine. I can see it on the PlayStation 5 running just fine. I don't know about the meta so much.
Hey man, don't diss on the meta, man. It does a lot more than you think, and I can connect it to my.
You got the new one though. You got the new
PC
Meta 3,
and get
you
way
still
more
got
graphics than your PlayStation 5 could ever hope to have.
You got this. You got the Quest 2. You got the new one now.
No, I opted to get a better PC, much more expensive than the Quest 3. And the reason is that, I can still buy VR games on Steam and just run the wire. But yeah, I really like my MetaQuest a lot. And I like it a lot because it's standalone, and I like it also because I can still connect to Steam VR.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not a locked, device.
I just wish Meta didn't have a stupid Facebook account associated with it. That drives me bonkers.
Doesn't bother me. An account is an account. Don't really care what it is.
Nah, there's just too much information surfing with friggin' Facebook shit. They're just tracking all your shit all the time.
Everybody's tracking you. You think YouTube's not tracking you right now?
That is true. That is true. So before we wrap up this conversation, anybody else, any more topics or games you just want to bring into the conversation? This has been an awesome conversation, by the
way. Games that deserve sequels or more love.
GC, you did say Recore. What was the other one? Recore and...
I said Duke Nukem Forever.
Duke Nukem Forever. Yeah, and that's a game that took an eternity to come out. When it finally did come out, and I agree with you. I don't think it was necessarily a bad game. It was a lot of fun and it looked pretty cool, but for some reason, just it didn't resonate with people, and they missed the mark in a few areas. So, tell us why you like Duke Nukem Forever.
All right. I've been waiting for it forever, like everybody else. Mm-hmm. I started high school when it was supposed to come out. It was 97. Came out in 2011. I was already married.
Wow. That is a long time ago.
That went through development hell, yep.
But I don't know. I beat the game. I thought it was fun. There's some challenging parts in the game. You can only have 2 weapons. I know that really annoyed a lot of people instead of just hitting the Y button and pulling out all your other weapons. But hey, I went through it. I beat the whole game, and at the very end, it's like, yeah, is he dead or alive? We don't know. And I'm like, okay, hopefully there's another one coming out, right? That ain't happening for a long time, so I don't know if it happens at all.
I think people are too soft for Duke Nukem these days for his comments. So
it's funny, when Forever came out, all I saw was like all these websites saying, "Oh, they made fun of Halo. This game doesn't take itself seriously." I'm like, it's not supposed to take itself seriously. It's Duke Nukem. Like, he's supposed to make fun of everybody else. I think because it skipped a decade, people forgot what that game really was. The heart and soul of Duke Nukem was a parody on all the action movies and stuff like that. I mean, his dream in the first 2 games, in the first game, is just to be on Oprah.
Right.
And in the second game, he starts off on Oprah, and then he gets abducted by aliens. But he's like a big muscle guy. He just wants to meet Oprah.
Yeah.
That was his dream.
It was awesome. That first one I played to death. I don't even know how many times I played through that game. It was so fun back in the day.
Yeah, on PC, the side scrollers, the first 2. Yeah. And then
3D. Not a lot of people know that.
Chew bubble gum.
Yeah, I heard the next Halo game is going to be more like the TV shows, and Master Chief's going to rip off his helmet every 5 minutes and show his ass once in a while.
Nice cheeks.
He's like, "Hey, grunts, take this." He whips out his pants. Oh, it's the demon.
That might get Sony guys to go out and buy an Xbox, because in PlayStation games, that's all you see is ass cheeks, apparently. So there you go. It's right up their alley.
Right up their ass.
Don't be so hard on Chief. Just doing what the script said. That's all. If you think about it, though, there's some logic in that. I think for the TV show, you got to make the guy relatable somewhat. If he's just a drone walking around in his machine-like form, the show's not going to do very well, realistically.
But that's here's an Chief. He's supposed to be stoic.
But this is an interesting question. Why is if you look at, say, animated shows where a character generally wears a mask, or if you look at other forms of the medium, they don't play that game. It's only on like the film versions where you have a real actor involved that they always constantly be like, gotta take his mask off, gotta show his emotions. Like if you look at Spider-Man cartoons, more often than not, when he's dressed as Spider-Man, he keeps his fucking mask on until he's like in a spot where he's not so vulnerable to take it off. And you look at a movie, he's like, hey, I'm Peter Parker. Hey, look at me. I'm on the news. I'm on the camera. Here's my head. You know, so like the girls got to see Tom Holland every 5 seconds. You know, like when you're wearing the suit, you're wearing the suit, man. Like I don't see Batman ripping off his freaking mask. I mean, even in the Dark Knight, I didn't see Christian Bale like whipping the mask off for hey, it's me. I'm Bruce Wayne. Right?
Yeah.
You want some of that?
Yeah. Yeah, they took his mask off, took his shirt off, and they're like, you know what? While you're at it, take his pants off too.
I mean, I totally get where you're coming from, mental look, and it wasn't the worst. I would have me personally, if I was just changing how at least the show went, I would have left at least his identity until a little bit later in the first season. Like probably toward the end of the episode. Then finally do the face reveal, and then gradually work it in. Not so much kind of like, oh, right after the episode one, like, whoop, here's the helmet gone, here's my pants are gone, you know.
Yeah, they could have left it longer for sure. Even if they teased where you're only seeing him from the back, you don't see his face or whatever, if they really felt like the helmet had to be off. Yeah, I get what you're saying. It'll be interesting to see what season 2 is like, given how season 1 ended. That I'm kind of curious to see what happens with the character. That
ending was awful. I don't know how Microsoft or 343 greenlit that ending. Like, when we finally get to see Master Chief be like the Master Chief we want, the badass that can take on a whole army, it's not even him. That made me so upset. You can watch my reactions on my channel, but yeah, that upset me so much. I reviewed
but that was the whole point of the AI, right? Like, even in the game, that's the whole point of Cortana, making him better.
Yeah, she gives me my mini map that enhances my combat effectiveness.
It'll be interesting to see. Will he become more robotic and more the Chief we know from the games?
But you know, we see that in everything. I mean, even The Last of Us 2 took so many liberties. You know, they stayed true to the script for the most part, but it still took a lot of liberties with the characters and some of the stuff that happened. I was like, geez.
Yeah,
you know,
there's a lot
guys
of stuff
just can't
that
resist. They got to change it everywhere they can. You know, it's weird. As my mama used to say, leave well enough alone.
Oh, yeah.
Great conversation, great games in there. The chat's been jumping in some great suggestions all night, too, as well. So thanks for that, guys. You're awesome. We are getting ready to wrap up the show. We're almost at the 2-hour mark tonight, and that's phenomenal. I figured we would go a little bit longer since we do have 4 people on the panel. Coolcat Terri, by the way, guys, in case you didn't know already or have been out of the loop, she's just kind of away for a couple of weeks because she's busy with her work schedule leading into the holiday season. This is her busy time of the year. And but she's with us in spirit, obviously. She's thinking about us, and she will be back on the panel very, very soon. So that's just kind of where we're at right now. We're very grateful that Game Complainerz and Axel could be with us tonight. I mean, 22 episodes in, finally got Axel on the show. It's been long overdue, but he's finally here, and it's always great to have both of these guys. So any further thoughts before we kind of get down to the wrap up of the show here?
I just want to make a correction. The
ahead.
definitive edition of Recore is on Xbox. I actually have it, but the chat reminded me it's on Xbox. The only thing is, when it came out, it didn't have 60 FPS until a couple of years ago when they finally boosted it. But on PC, it had 60 FPS. That's when I grabbed it on PC when it came out. I was like, I'll leave my Xbox alone for a little bit. I'm going to play this on PC now. So, yeah, that's a correction I want to make.
Cybergunner says we need a live-action Gears TV series. Well, Cybergunner, you're going to be very pleased to know that as far as we know, I do believe it is Netflix is bringing out a live-action Gears of War TV series. It is in the works. I don't know any more than that, but they are bringing out a live-action. I think they got Gears of War, and they're going to have a new God of War one. So that's pretty crazy. That's pretty crazy. Netflix is going to have some serious content on their channel here pretty soon.
Tells you a lot about the current state of the movie and TV industry, right? That they've got to lean on video games for their new content. But hey, it's
games
cool.
have had great stories that need to be told, and I think they're finally realizing that. That the game industry is big, and it's about time that people start waking up and realizing that some of the best entertainment content out there, it comes in the form of a video game medium. And you see that The Last of Us is a perfect example of how a great story with characters can resonate with fans both of the game and with the show. And because a lot of people never even really heard of the game, they start watching the show, and then I literally seen people that are watching the show go, "Oh, now I really want to check out this game, and this game's got to be pretty cool, like because this show is friggin' badass." So yeah, it's kind of so it kind of goes both ways.
Yep. Not saying it's a bad thing. I think it's good for us as gamers to get to see some of these things come to life. So
yeah,
it's
no,
cool.
I wish there were more parts of the industry taking gaming a little more seriously. It doesn't get the love and support it deserves, but then again, some of it's warranted because again, you see that there's some very extreme actions by fans of video gaming that kind of tarnish our entire reputation. With the childishness, the foolishness that goes on, the clowns. I mean, the fact that they take this stuff so seriously. Like when you got people out there threatening people's lives, or developers' lives, or publishers' lives, and their families over a fucking video game, you guys need to get yourself checked. You are taking this beyond entertainment into some weird fantasy stuff that I can't even explain. And I think anybody that's got a logical mind on this panel in the chat would agree wholeheartedly. You are on another level of you need some help, buddy. Seriously, like get yourself checked in because that's not mental normalcy in my world. It's a game. It's meant to entertain. No more, no less. You don't like it? Don't fret about it. Go play something different. You don't have to hound people of it. You have an opinion on games? We all do. We're giving our opinions tonight. But people don't need your bullshit over it. Go get outside. Like they say, what's it? Sniff grass, look at the sunshine, go get yourself a lady friend and play with her joysticks for a bit, whatever. Maybe that's what you need. Maybe you're in the dungeon too long. Maybe you've been in the basement so long the stale of piss in your carpet is getting to you. I don't know. Right? Come on now, right?
It's messed up.
Shit, man.
Yeah, it is.
And it always, and it always comes back that half these weirdos, always got these video game backgrounds, and then they blame it on the games. Well, it's because they're playing games that they're doing this shit. No, it's probably because they got parents that left them in the basement too long and didn't care. Hey, Johnny, you coming up for supper? No, Mom. It's okay. You can go down there and rot because we're going to work. And, we'll buy you another $60 game with lots of guns and titties in it because you're never gonna see any real titties in your life because you're gonna be in the basement. Until you're so fucking fat you can't see your feet, and then you're gonna be mad at the world because you can't see your feet. And
did you ever see that movie? What's it called? Grandma's Boy, I think it was called.
Oh my God, that movie was so good.
That's what you made me just think of with that, right? Like, shut up, Ma. But yeah.
I'm not coming for dinner. I'm tired of craft dinner, Ma. Yeah. How long you been playing that game? I'm at 120th hour, and I played 9 hours straight today. I smell like BO and fucking cheese Doritos.
Oh, man.
Anyway.
Yeah. All right.
Let's switch gears here, and we'll roll the show up. We got a couple minutes here, and I'm going to turn off the camera. You guys get your questions ready and select who you want to see on camera tonight. Do you want Cletus? Do you want Safe House Sam? Do you want Arnold, or would you like to see Handy Andy? I don't know if I got enough voice on me to do a Safe House tonight, but I welcome the challenge all the same. So how about it, guys? I'm going to stop the camera. We bring in one of our guests. You got any questions? Now's the time. I'm sure Axel's always got one.
Yeah, I already posted my question. Let me hear it in Arnold.
Where'd you post the question? Where's that?
It's right there. I just sent it.
Oh.
1022. Yeah.
This one?
Yep, that one right there.
Oh. And you want me
Talk to us, Arnold. Convince the chat that's been ignoring this gem.
Wonderful is a fantastic game that never got enough love except for the little perverts out there. We all know that they never played volleyball. I don't even think any of them actually finished the game. All they wanted to do was run up the score so they could see all these fantastic dead or alive girls jumping to the volleyball net with their bouncy physics. That's what they wanted to see, and that's what they got. And that's why the game was popular today. Every kid that's out there playing dead or alive extreme beach volleyball probably still got a boner. Is still loving it. It's some of the greatest physics ever in the video game. They should bring back a sequel. It is underrated while we all masturbated. Go buy a copy. Get it.
Underrated while we masturbated. And you can tell my wife loves it. She's in there. What the heck? Volleyball game again. I use this game to troll her all the time.
We got
Jesse Darby wants to ask Cletus.
Okay, Jesse's always going.
Yeah, does the pig farm have a tax?
Well, he's really Cletus here. Does the pig farm have? Of course, everything got taxes. You can't have a sensible society without taxes. Because the taxes is the stuff that I'm going to need from you sorry packs of shit. Because I need your tax money because that's how I got to get to the dentist to pay for my 2 teeth. I got a cavity in one of my 2 teeth, and that's what I need. Your taxes helps pay for my lazy ass and my family to get down to the dentist so I can look after 2 or 3 teeth that I still got left in my head. And you know the best thing about having 2 or 3 teeth just left in your head is that you can open some really good champagne glasses and wine bottles for that stuff. I still got some moonshine left for her last year, and maybe we should share some. You guys want some?
All right.
Nice. Thanks, Cletus.
So
I don't know if you have Andy handy, huh? But Cyber Gunter was wondering what Andy's game of the year is.
Okay, we'll bring in him in a sec. We'll get to this one first from Doggy Dog.
Says Cletus, what do you hope to find in your Christmas stocking?
Well, you honestly can. Around my house, it's not a very popular place during Christmas. Money is tighter than a nun's buns, okay? So honestly, I'm just happy that I don't find a log of shit in my stocking. And sometimes that comes in handy, because somebody might have dropped a good log in there, and I can use that for fertilizer for the taters in the backyard. So sometimes, a big pile of shit is not always a bad thing. Sometimes, you know what? Good stuff grows from shit. But anyway, I'm always happy, whether I got some denture cream or I got some preparation H, fucking hemorrhoids, man. I'll tell you, when the toilet seat's cold, them suckers been popping and dropping. And I don't like a hemorrhoids that gets itchy. And I'm not a fan of itchy and scratchy. You know what I'm saying? I know. So give me some lots of them all them rubs. I want lots of rubs.
Oh man.
Oh, we got a super chat from RWK.
Yeah. And this you can put towards Handy's subscriptions to Cornhub.
Cornhub?
A good old $1.99 to help him out.
All right, we had some questions, I think, for Handy Andy. I guess I'm going to have to bring him in here. One sec there, guys. One sec. Because Handy Andy, he's got to roll out the red carpet here, right? All right, we got it. 1 second here, guys. Nope, that's not it. There we go. Sorry.
Wrong hand.
Wrong
puppet. Wrong puppet. That's the wrong sock.
Oops.
Oh, hang on. Gotta do that first, I guess. Oh yeah, here we go. I gotta get off camera. All right, Handy, it's your turn, buddy. It's your turn. All right.
Well, it's about freaking time. I thought I was going to have to wait like another whole week. I mean, here I am, guys, live in the flesh. And I understand there's a couple of good questions. Actually, I'm going to take off that one from RWK. It's been read out already. Sorry, double standard here. Let's go. How about you, Game Complainerz, you sexy beast? You got a question for me or what? Axel,
well, Game Complainerz is thinking one.
Axel looks like he's got a hand up his ass right now.
What's your game of the year, Andy?
Yeah, somebody asked, what's your game of the year?
Cyber Gunter.
My game is kind of like Spider-Man 2, but it's actually for couples that like to swing. Swinger.
Pineapple Man 2.
Here's Pineapple Man number 2. I'm gonna stick it up your bottom because that's exactly what Pineapple Men do.
There you go.
Andy, what do you think about RWK in the chat room?
RWK is phenomenal. All this entire chat is absolutely. I can't even tell you. They are freaking incredible. All these chat people. They come in each and every week to listen to stupid ass Noof Nukem goofing around. No, actually, they're probably here for sexy ass mental nightmare. That's the real thing. Noof is just
Right.
the cornball. But nah, seriously, I'm glad they're all coming up. I mean, what can I say about the chat? I mean, they're awesome, and they
Awesome.
apparently they like me, so that's cool. I like them too. But I'm sorry, guys. Honestly, I can only handle Noof Nukem's hand up my ass. Okay.
So my wife asked, "Hey, Handy Andy, are you friends with Arnold?"
Of course I'm friends with Arnold. Arnold is the coolest guy in the whole world. He's got big muscles. He has a funny accent. And yeah. And like he gets around. He sounds a lot like my ex-girlfriend.
Jeez. Oh man.
Let's see. Cyber Gunther, I think, has one, doesn't he? Or Jesse Darby?
Yeah, Andy, what do you think of Taylor Swift?
Together, Cyber. Don't make me rub my hands. Oh.
What do you think of Taylor Swift dating Travis Kelce?
Oh, all I can say is I'm jealous. I am super jealous. I should be your boyfriend, Taylor Swift. The best thing about I love your last name, it's Swift, because that's just how my sex is gonna be when I'm with you. Swift. 10 seconds in, 10 seconds out. That's what Handy's all about.
Do you like Arnold's muscles, Andy?
Oh.
Especially his down under muscle.
What? That's the one but that's the one the steroids shrunk. It made everything else bigger. It made that one smaller.
I think it's just the beans that shrink, Andy.
You know what? If you took the glasses off my face right now, and just imagine my hair and the rest of my head kind of looks like his knob.
Oh wow!
I'm on fire today.
Hey.
It could be just hemorrhoids.
RWK88 wants to know, Andy, what do you think of the Xbox tax? I'm curious about this too. Is it real?
Is Phil Spencer getting a cut of it? If he's not, he should be. Honestly, God, seriously, though, guys, come on, all these stupid, these media people, they just love to shit on the Xbox. Like seriously, I think Nukem should literally do a video where he gets an Xbox and takes a shit on top of it. And he can say, look, it's just like the media do. Just leave a big turd right on the top of that Series X and let it smoke.
Oh my.
Wow.
Well, the media would just say, the game is great, but, it has some shitty parts. 6 out of 10, shitty parts. Okay. Anyway, guys, I think that's it for the show tonight. So take care, everybody. It was good seeing you all.
Bye, Andy.
Bye, Andy.
Wow.
Oh, Andy.
He's quite a guy. He's quite a guy.
Yes, quite the guy, indeed. Yes, you never know what you're going to get out of that. Oh, we got to have one question for Safe House. I guess we'll have to bring him. What do you think about Nukem coming up with all these characters?
Wait, what?
Jesse Darby's got one question here.
Oh, Safe House. Oh, okay. Sorry, that just popped up for me.
Yeah, Safe House. Sam and the Billy Bitches, you bunch of cockasses. Let me tell you this right now. Yeah, Nukem coming up with all these characters. Because Nukem, I tell you, he sits in bed too long and comes up with a bunch of weirdos. I don't even know how I put up with it. Arnold Schwarzenegger, you can go kiss my ass. Bucky Cletus, you can kiss my ass. And Andy,
I'm gonna stick my head up your ass and I'm gonna put you on a broomstick. That's what I'm gonna do to you, you bunch of cock asses. This fucking chat's amazing. This podcast's fucking amazing. You got some amazing people. You even brought fucking Axel 13 fucking 345 6 in here. Yeah, that guy's got more numerals. My God, what the hell is that? Is that your locker code from high school? What the hell? Game Complainerz, why you over there smiling about it? You ever took your cocksucking glasses off the whole fucking show? You think you the fucking intimidate over there? You getting ready to come to my house and fuck up Zericano or what? What's going on? And then Mental died out. He's laughing so hard up there he had to take his glasses off because he can't see shit anymore over there. Yeah, what's going on? Oh, you got up in the chat here. Nuke, me go bust a hemorrhoid just trying to do this shit right now. Let me tell you, boy. Let me tell you. Let's go. Them characters now suck. I'm the only character that should be getting prime real estate on the microphone up in here because I am the real deal, full deal meal, baby. Let me tell you, I'm like a McDouble that's full of trouble. Let's go.
Nice, man. The chain smoking up right out. Yeah. Wow.
Jeez.
Oh, man. Awesome stuff, guys. That's the time for the show. Running overtime here, but amazing as always. Let's thank our amazing chat. You guys are fantastic. I hope I acknowledged everybody tonight. Cyber Gunter's in the house. Iceman LMH. Great friends of mine. Also great guys to play games with. Jesse Derby. RWK. Doggy Dog. You guys are all amazing. Everybody's coming. Timothy Dixon. The whole 9 yards, guys. You're fantastic. I can't thank the chat enough. And by the way, speaking of Timothy Dixon, he gave me a code to give away, and I'm going to probably do it on the next show. It's for a copy of Shadow the Tomb Raider. Now, everybody's probably played it by now, but if you haven't, we're going to give away a code on the next show. I mean, if you don't have it, at least you have a code for it, and you can go play it. One of the best games that come out in the last 10 years, hands down, in my opinion.
That's a good
one. I love Tomb Raider. Shadow was amazing, right up there with Rise. Give or take one way or another. But in the meantime, let's let everybody get out of here. Let's start with the Game Complainers, my brother. Thank you so much for being here. It is always an honor and a pleasure to hang out with you. I love how you think. I love the stuff that you bring to the table. Very similar to the guys on this panel. You got that old school vibe, but like I said, you break it down in ways that people can understand. And like I said, appreciate what you're doing, and we're glad to have you here. Again, love the background too. Garfield is fucking fantastic. And let people know where they can catch up with you or what you got happening on your next podcast or stream.
Podcast every Wednesday night at around 10:30, 11 p.m. on YouTube, on my channel, The Game Complainerz. You can follow me there. Again, I want to thank you for having me once again, Noof. It's awesome. Thank you.
Appreciate you being here, my friend. Guys, go give him a follow for sure. He'll be back in a few weeks' time. Guaranteed. Probably when we get some great topics, we'll have these lovely gentlemen back again. Axel looking fantastic and dapper tonight. Looks like he's ready to go on a date with his beautiful wife there, I'm sure. He's got the Coke shirt on, ready to go. So
that's right. Now this is just a really light shirt, easy to take off. You know what I mean?
That's right. He says, "My wife don't choke when I'm down on Coke." Let's go. Go ahead, right. Axel. Let people know where you can check out with you and your channel. You got, like I said, great podcasts on Friday nights in particular. And I love what you're doing with Good Morning Xbox, continuing a great tradition. And so let people know where they can catch it.
Yeah, guys. So again, I am Axel1324. I am the host of the Iconic Video Games Podcast every Friday night at 8 p.m. Eastern. You can find it on the Iconic Video Games channel. We are not a news podcast. We are a games podcast where we just talk about a topic. We kind of pick a random topic and just talk about games related to that topic. We really interact a lot with the chat. We do a lot of polls. We do a lot of giveaways every now and again. So yeah, Iconic Video Games is really a very different type of podcast, not a news podcast. But I do have a news podcast. Ooh. Thanks to Noof Nukem. I took over Good Morning Xbox every Sunday at 9 a.m. Eastern as well. So yeah, be sure to check it out. Subscribe. Help me get to 500, guys.
Yeah, let's get them to 500, guys. It's not that hard. Just takes a lot of you guys are coming to chat. If you're not already subscribed, hit that and tell all your friends. It's like I said, that's the least we can do, right? Support the community and the good guys, the real ones. And we got one more super chat before we go. It comes in for RWK88. He drops another $1.99. Go ahead, Mental.
Great show, y'all. Fire.
He's got a little Cletus going there. Yeah. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. Fire indeed. Lots of fire, lots of laugh emojis, which means you guys are enjoying the show. And as I've said on many weeks past, a lot of the people that are in this chat, they're here from minute 1 right till minute 90 or 120, and it's amazing. That means it's just they like what we're doing,
awesome guys.
Content. And I wish hopefully the channel continues to grow. But before I get to my spiel, Mental 9R, my brother, let you know where they can find you and Caffeine Entertainment. I understand
Mental
you had
9R?
a video just recently. Did you do some kind of review or something?
Yeah, I did the unboxing of my limited edition Steam Deck. So it's on Caffeine Entertainment on YouTube, and everywhere else I'm Mental 9R. If it's Xbox, PlayStation, Steam, that's where you'll find me. And of course, Twitter. X. Damn it. But yeah,
Awesome.
Mental 9R. That's where you'll find me.
Wait.
Right.
Which Caffeine Entertainment is it? There's so many Caffeine Entertainment channels. What's the logo?
Yeah, at Caffeine Entertainment, all one word.
All one word. Okay,
We'll get you there. Yeah.
Okay. I got you.
And yeah, it's like a blue silhouette, sort of neon-looking Xbox controller.
All right.
There you go. Go give him a follow, guys, if you get a chance, and go check out his unboxing and other videos that he will have now and in the future.
I will be doing a follow-up on the Steam Deck too. After a couple of weeks, once I get into my office, I'll have my capture stuff set up, and I'll capture some gameplay on it, and do that follow-up.
Sounds good. And self-explanatory, you guys know where to find me right here on this channel each and every Tuesday night with these fantastic cast of characters, Mental 9R, Coolcat Terri, and all of our phenomenal guests. Certainly looking forward to, like I said, we're getting a little closer to December 9th. So lots of Game Award show discussion coming away in the near future. We're also hearing rumblings that Microsoft may be at the show in a big way this year. Let's hope to God for nothing else. I'll be happy if they show off some more Hellblade. I really want to see more of that game because it's on my highly must anticipated games, and it's a game that looks like it might finally show off some of the graphical talents that Xbox has acquired. Some guys that can push the envelope. The first game was phenomenal. I cannot imagine the second game will be any less than what Hellblade set the standard. So let's hope that it's going to be good. But in the meantime, we'll be back here again next week, same time, same place. Hope you guys are liking the new Tuesday night time slot. Trying to find a perfect medium. 7:30 is pretty good. I had to get away from Monday nights for a variety of reasons. So hopefully you guys are doing okay with the Tuesday slot, and we'll see you all again soon. But until then, take care of yourselves, guys. The world is crazy out there right now, and we need the gaming to just distract us from all the weird shit that's going on because it's getting funky out there. So God bless everybody. Take care, and we'll see you next week.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, guys.
Everyone. Cheers.